So those of you that already saw the flip through of the journals that I made that highlight African women, I had mentioned that I was going to put together sort of like a little sample kit of the different fabrics and ephemera and different little things that I used in the journal in case you wanted to make one yourself. So if you haven't seen the journal itself, you can go back and I'll put a link, if I can remember, to the other video where I did the flip through. This, I'm just going to focus on the little kit that I put together so that if you want, you could try and make your own journal, or at least use it as an inspirational, point where to start. Sometimes we have an idea and we just really don't know where to begin, but once we start, boom, there we go. So what was dominant in the journal was that I had some African fabric that I wanted to highlight in the pockets, and I put it on some of the pictures and things like that. So that's what I'm going to include in this. And then also I went ahead, well, it might help if I'm showing in case you didn't see it. What I'm including is some shells that I used. I shouldn't have closed this up. That I won't open, I'll leave it shut. That I used on the cover, and then I've enclosed a couple of beads, and then I put an elephant because I had to put a little elephant on the front of mine. There's a little elephant there, and I put some a leather cord. I didn't use it in mine, but you may find some use for it. And then some more little shells right there. I already have some holes that you can sew somewhere into your journal. So that's part of the kit. Then inside of the journal, there are a lot of different photographs of different women from the continent of Africa, and they're kind of from the 20s, 30s. So what I've done is I've included 4 of those pictures that were used in the journal. And then I also have, in the journal, I had included some of these cards that are predominantly animals that you would find in Africa. So I've included those in this also because I had those in the actual journals. So I've included that. Now on the front cover, I made my journal with my rested fabric that I make. So I've included a piece. It's not big enough for the whole cover, but it's at the very least enough for the front cover. I'm getting kind of low on my supply, so I just included enough that you could do the front cover if you want to. Also, I included a couple of these papers that highlight Africa and the animals on the continent. So I've included that. Then I included this bag, which I think it would be kind of cool if you incorporated this into the cover of a journal. But if not, it can be used, maybe as pages. Here are some more pieces of ephemera that were inside of the journal that I made. So I've included some of those. Whoops. I forget, I think there's about maybe, I have to double check. I think there's like about 40 different pieces of ephemera. Now, these are little miniature file folders. I think they're so cute, but I'm just leaving them open right now. You can do with them what you like. So that is some of the ephemera. Let me put this back in here. And then here I have some of the fabric. Now I use this raffia to make my closure, so I've wrapped it around here. So there's about, oh, I know there's more than a yard there, more than enough for you to wrap around your journal itself. And so all of these pieces are 5 by 5, and there's 15 different fabrics. And as I mentioned, these are all from Africa. They were acquired either by myself or a friend of mine brought them back on a vacation. Now some of these have been washed and some of them have not. The ones that have not been washed, they're a little stiffer because they do, not on all the fabrics, but on some of the fabrics, they put like a wax on them and makes them very shiny and slick. But when you wash them, it all comes out and just feels like normal fabric. So like I said, whoops, I think these are all upside down. Like I said, I had washed some, like this one. It originally was really stiff, but this one's been washed. So now just where the gold is still a little stiffer, but the rest is soft. Same with this. This has been washed. This is still stiff. I haven't washed. That one wasn't a washed piece. And then this is a board that has been, the surface is that you can write on it with chalk. So I just thought I would throw that in. And then I have this elephant scrapbook paper, so I included that. I have one of him in my journals. So there he is, and that's just the backdrop for that. And so this is your 15 pieces of fabric. You also, of course, have the piece of rested fabric. And you also have this pouch or bag, whatever you want to call it. And those are all the things that you will be getting in your little sampler. And then you can kind of go crazy and make your own African inspired journal and see what you come up with. I'd be interested. Oops, I tied it all wrong, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it inspires you to try and do your own journal and be inspired by the beauty that is on that continent of Africa.